Hi and welcome back to another video of JPlay. I am Marcus, and yeah, today I'm covering the first game I brought back home from Essen Spiel 2025. It's Deep Space Dine, published by Boardgame Racoon and designed by Benjamin Schulz, Benny, who was kind enough to give me this as a review copy. Unfortunately, there is no English version of this game out yet, but he told me that he got an immense amount of inquiries from especially English content creator or English speaking content creators, and he might consider doing something like a print and play version of this game, for example. Anyway, I want to cover this game on the channel. Yes, there is some text you may have to go through. It's not super bad, but as usual, I will translate on the fly. So what is this all about? Deep Space Nine is on the edge of the galaxy. It's surrounded by space pirate, plasma storms and alien monsters notorious for its pizzas. And it is your workplace. So we embark on a delivery tour. We play our cards wisely. Let's see how that goes. Get the most out of your ship and deliver the pizza before it gets cold. Yeah, that's definitely a key thing in this game. So you take on the role of a space pizza delivery driver and have to deliver your pizza before it gets cold, and of course your ship shouldn't explode. This is really a tiny box. Basically all that you get is a bunch of cards. You get these counter tokens. The die is just here to show you how big the box actually is. It's really fully packed with cards in the end, so I've sleeved my cards in the meantime, and unfortunately they no longer fit in here. This is the rules. It's really tiny. I mean, compare this to the standard die. That's my JPlay die, by the way. And the game itself is not super complicated, but I believe because of the size of this rulebooks, he had to make some, let's call it, concessions in that. So I would have loved to see a little bit more examples here, but he already promised he's working some kind of an FAQ. But again, overall, the game is really super clear. So let me set this thing up and then, yeah, meet you back all for you in a second, I guess. Okay, and here we are. I decided to play not really the learning game, but still the easiest difficulty level, which is here the salad. Basically, it's a learning one. Normally you have really a full-blown learning game which you can play, though there are some extra cards. This is somewhat preparing you for the entry level. It makes the game a little bit longer, but then again, it gives you some more stuff to explore and to learn the game. Anyway, I am playing on the, let's say, learning level of this game, simply to, again, want to show you how this game actually works. So this is really a tough nut to crack. So basically how this works is we are going through, I believe, 4 sectors here. These are the starting sector. You see one chevron over here on this asteroid field. So maybe let me zoom in on this. So these cards are all double-sided basically. Some cards you can upgrade, like those one here. On the other side there is something else. So the idea is to go through these sectors. I think there are 4, and then we are going into somewhat of a boss level basically. You still bring out I think 3 more of the advanced ones in random, and then there are 3 bosses that come with the game here, quote-unquote bosses, which you also have to defeat basically to finally deliver your pizza. That's basically our mission in this game. And again, you have all sorts of difficulty levels. I think you can go to whatever extra cheese and with French fries. I think this can get tough. The game also comes with 3 different ships you can choose from. I also started with the, let's say, I'm not sure if it's the easiest one, but the most straightforward one, the Space Hopper 3000. We have an extra ability here, so one player is allowed to draw cards, which is typically a good thing. Apart from that, we have the Krusty Cruiser here, and the last one is the Nostrovan one, which actually comes with 2 cards. So we would then also flip over this one, and I believe for the Nostrovan one we would also, no, I think we need this for the Krusty Cruiser as well, the 3rd chip here as well. And depending on which ship you are using, your draw deck will look a little bit differently. So the ship basically tells you which kind of cards you have in your deck. So the Space Hopper has a pilot, a reactor, a laser, an oven, shields, an R drive, and a scanner. And then we still have a P drive, we have a lab, we have a kitchen, and we have the robo deck here basically. And this really gives you a good amount of replayability. Again, you have 3 ships, you have a lot of these different things here. You can really enjoy this as a sandbox delivery game in that regard. Because I'm the solo player, I will start the game, or my hand size is basically 7. There are numerous ways throughout the game where I will be able to draw back up to my hand size. In a 2-player game, I think you can play this up to 3 players, and in a 3-player game, I believe it's 4 cards each. But again, it's also a fully cooperative game if you're playing a 2 or 3-player game, that is. So I think that's basically that's my hand of cards. I will not go into all of my cards. I will explain those to you when we are playing those. So for now, I will maybe take them into my hand. I will really have to have a good look. But what are we trying to achieve for our very first sector here? In most sectors, we have basically 2 different approaches we can take. First thing is we can go for a jump. In this case, a jump is not really super complicated because we have 0 navigation. We simply want to get out of this asteroid field here. And on top of this, depending on the player count, we need to come up with 4, 5 or 6 basically drive symbols in our display. So this one is a relatively easy one to jump out of this. I think that's really possible. The problem is when you are merely jumping out of this, you're not gaining an immediate award like upgrading, for example, your cards. And again, these cards are all double-sided and you want to flip as many as possible. Obviously, they get more powerful. In order to really reap all the rewards from a sector, you can also go through these, what are these called, challenges or so. I think so we can maneuver through in this one here. In order to maneuver through, we need 3 navigation symbols and 2 drive symbols basically in our display. Alternatively, we can trust or we can rely on our deflector. So we need 5 of these shield tokens. And now a little bit depending on which cards we have drawn, we may have to come to a conclusion to say that's what we want to achieve. The game really doesn't have, let's say, rounds or action turns or so. Every player simply plays a card. There is no set order. So player 1 could play 3 cards, player 2 1 card, and player 3 then 2 cards. And you can mix and match them. What will happen is after each card that you have played, you will check, have you either made one of these conditions, then you are good, then you're golden, you're basically discarding everything and stuff will happen. Or you will check, okay, do we have reached our danger level here? The danger level is basically the amount of cards we have played in our current row. So we will have multiple rows in the game. In a 1-player game, maybe 2 is common. In a 2 or 3-player game, this could be maybe even 3 rows, for example. That could happen throughout the game, but typically bad stuff will happen when you didn't make it. So in this case, I can basically play 4 cards safely. If I didn't make the jump yet here, for example, we will have to brace for impact here, and then we would take a damage, which would mean we would have to move our damage counter 1 space to the left. This would also tell us we would have to discard or basically remove a card from the game. Basically, that is typically bad. And whenever we are moving one of these counters off the card, then we have basically either exploded or the pizza was simply too cold to be delivered. Either way, we will lose the game. You can also lose the game by running out of energy. Basically, if you can't do anything anymore, then you're also pretty much stuck. And yeah, this was then the end of your career as a pizza delivery person. Okay. This has already taken me a while, but looking at my hand of cards, I think the only chance I really have in order not to take any damage too soon is really to jump out of this. Again, jumping is okay, but we are not allowed to upgrade our card. So basically, when you resolve one of these tasks down here, these challenges, then you have also made it, and then you get basically 1 from your hand cards you get to upgrade. Pretty much flipping them to the other side, ultimately making it more powerful. But we have to jump. In order to jump, because we are playing solo, the good thing is we don't need any navigational symbols here. That's already a bonus, but we need to come up with 4 drive symbols. And the way how this works now is, I believe, which one can I get rid of? I want to play this card in front of me. That's basically this. In order to play a card as my action, I only look at basically this box here. This typically gives you a bunch of options which you can play. In order to do this, nothing specific. I can play this card this way as it is without any problems whatsoever. This means nothing to do, and this symbol basically means play it in the current row. This is our current row, and the current row can basically have up to 4 cards before this is triggering, right? This one says when we play it this way, we are allowed to draw cards equal to the amount of these drive symbols that we see in our row. Right now, these symbols down here, they are basically face down or basically flipped around, so we cannot see those. Only when these symbols are in the right orientation am I allowed to draw these. So right now, this card, this orientation doesn't do anything. But this is where we have the second option here. This would allow us, if we are really removing a card from the game, we could then basically flip this card and then play it into the array, which means we would then flip it over, and now, hey, we have 2 drive symbols here because now they're in the right orientation. That's what I need to do. The problem is I don't know which one I want to get rid of because I really don't know which cards I am. Not sure if I'm allowed to look through my sectors, but I will act surprised. So I have not checked those out. I don't know what comes after these asteroid field. And knowing this, I believe, let's get rid of this card. It's a really powerful card because it allows me to extend my row limit by 2. But I believe in a solo game, this card may not be as important. We will see about that. So this card is basically out of the game for good. There are effects which could bring these destroyed cards back, but right now we don't have those. So we have now played first card. We have 2 of these drive symbols in front of me in our active row. It doesn't really matter to where these drive symbols are. We can use them from everywhere, but right now this is our current row. And again, if we are going through a first row, then this is basically moving all up, and yeah, then we are starting a new row. We can still use the symbols for the most part. So we will now check, do we have enough drive to jump? No, we don't. We only have 2. We need 4 because again, we are at a solo player game. Then we check, okay, do we have basically the amount of these symbols here? No, we don't. We have only 1 card here, which means we are fine. We can basically keep playing. That's basically all that it is. So what else did I want to do actually? So yeah, I think for my next card, we are going to play this card here. That's, I think, Parmesano, basically some cheese we are playing into the display. It shows the symbol here, but the drive symbols oftentimes do appear in these black things. There are cards like this one here which do not have an inherent drive symbol, but playing this card in this orientation would basically add my drive value to 3. In order to do that, to do this symbol basically means we will have to discard any other card. This is now only discarded, not removed from the game. So I think I will discard this card here, which is basically reroute your energy, basically. So we are discarding this. It goes next to our draw pile here. Again, we will check, do we have made it? Did we made it? No, we did. Do we have 4 cards? No, we are good. So we need 1 more drive symbol here. I believe in order to achieve what we want to achieve, we are playing, no, not this card. I believe it's this card here. And this card basically says prepare, and this is an X. An X basically gives you a special instruction. And this one says, so basically we play it here. That's totally fine. And then we check here, we can discard any amount of our hand cards, and then we are drawing as many as those are. The thing now really is, I don't really know which one I want to keep actually. And we are going to draw back up to our hand size anyway. So I think I will rather forfeit the effect here, which is okay. I think this number can be 0, at least I hope. So I will basically stop playing cards now. We are counting now 1, 2, 3, 4 of these drive symbols here. We need 4 drive symbols. We don't need a navigational symbol on this card. So that is already good news. So yes, hooray, we have made it. So now we check for the boldly go effect. And yes, that is deliberate done. Did we solve the challenge? No, we didn't. So we are not allowed to upgrade our hand card. That is kind of a penny. Then we are discarding our, basically our grid. We only have one row, but these cards are basically all discarded. So we are turning them all back to the right side. They go into our discard pile here. That is okay. The good thing is now we are drawing back up to our hand size, which is 7. And you wouldn't do that if we would say we have a problem, basically when we would have too many cards in our active row here. So that is fine. So no, we did that. So we are drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And yes, you always see the top card of the draw deck. This gives you really some information if you really want to deliberately draw a card, basically paying maybe a high price, but then you see, yeah, but that's the perfect card. And this card is super funny. It's the standard side is pew pew, and when you upgrade it to the other side, it says pew pew pew. Super fun. I love it. I saw that in Essen actually. I really fell in love with that. So we did that. We draw back up to our hand size. So we have 7 cards. Then we are discarding our current sector. So we are out of this asteroid field, and oh wow, we have found the gas station, which is a pretty cool one. This is one which is basically auto-resolve. It really says there's nothing to do here. It has 0, so we are basically dealing with a gas station here. And now we can pretty much make a choice if we want to do that. Either we are discarding a card, removing a card from a game with a drive symbol, or we can basically spend a pizza, and if we do the pizza, we can take 3 cards back from our destroyed pile, but then we are losing a pizza, and pizza in the end is a victory point. Okay, that is an interesting one. So this could become rather simple, and I think in this case we are neither getting, I think we are still drawing back up to our hand size, but we are also not really upgrading any of our cards. So what do we do? I really have to look at my cards here and checking my cards. I really don't want to get rid of anything, so we are going for the lame route. So we are degreasing our pizza. It just gotten a little bit colder, but this allows us to take this card basically back. It's only 1 card. It's kind of a waste, but I think I don't really know the cards all too well actually, so that I can make an informed decision. But I think that's what I want to do. I believe in the gas station. I don't get to upgrade anything. That's my take. And then it says, and then we jump direct. So, and after a jump, we are not doing an upgrade. So we are not drawing back to our hand size, but we are getting rid of this gas station right away. And now we have a folded space also. In order to make it out of this, or basically to jump out of this, we would need now 6 drive symbols. I have to check my cards again. Or we can take the shortcut. The shortcut requires us to spend basically, we need to spend 2 of these navigational symbols, and per player we need 2 of these radar symbols. I really don't know what those are. Scanning, basically a scanning thing in the end. So we need 2 and 2 in order to make it out. We have 5 in our row, so this is a little bit longer, but if we are basically not making it after 5 cards, we will lose yet another level of our pizza. Whew, let's see about that. So again, we have to look at our cards. You have to look what they do. Oh no, one thing I forgot actually. Yeah. Good. I think when I jumped out of that first room through the asteroid field, I was allowed to man a station. And this is basically this small thing in here. I'm not sure if I am allowed to do that after the gas station too. I think I am actually. So, okay, let me fix that real quick. So the first station I am going to man basically is this one down here. So we forget everything that's basically printed on this card. We are only looking at this line here. This is now pretty much an ongoing effect. So we no longer pay energy for any actions, which can be super huge. We can only man 1 station ever. And this was already an effect from the very first jump we did. And then we did the second jump. jump, so which again would have allowed me to draw this card for the folded space, and then I could decide if I want to replace that station down here. You can only ever man one station per player. This is where having more players is beneficial, but then again you will lose time. Yeah, you get the idea, right? But ultimately we have a different card in our hand, and we are currently no longer playing energy cost for actions, that is. There are still other effects for energy, but for the actions we can skip over that, and we can replace this station anytime we see fit. So whenever we get a new benefit, we can then pretty much discard it and man a different station, depending on what it is you want to achieve. Anyway, what do we do with the folded space here? How can we achieve that? I don't think with my hand of cards I will be able to jump out of this. So yeah, in theory, here we have one drive symbol. Here we have a drive symbol, and if we are playing it this way, we can double. Okay, that's possible. We can double the amount of drive symbols in that row. So if we play them both this way, we would have already, but there it has some things. We need basically one may more, and we could also use this. So yeah, in theory, we could jump, but then again we are not upgrading either. The problem is I don't think I get enough of these navigational symbols here. I need two, and I also need two of these scanning. I have in theory a scanning thing in here. Okay, I really have to think this through. Okay, let's see if we can do that. So we are playing this card here. Shoot our way through, basically. Normally we would have to spend now an energy, but because we have manned our station here, we can skip over this. We are no longer paying for these actions. So we can pretty much play this card for free. It comes with this symbol here. So when we are jumping, these laser symbols also count as thrust, basically, or as a drive. But it comes with a drive point here. And I think I need the drive point for something else. Yes, indeed. Then we are playing this card here, but we are using the second option here. For no cost, basically, we can turn it the other way. So now we do have energy symbol in our row, and I think I need this energy symbol for something. Then we are going to play this card in here. That's the full range scan or so. And this gives us one scan per energy symbol in that row. These things only count in that row. So right now we have one energy symbol in that row. Ooh, will we make that actually? Do we get a second energy symbol? I think we do, but it will cost us. Oh gosh, this will be tough. This will be super tough. Anyway, again, we are allowed to draw as many cards as we see energy symbols in the row, and only though, let's say, in the right orientation. So only this one here. But that's the perfect card we want to draw. It's basically this, and we take this into our hand. We need this. Okay, cool. And yeah, believe me, this is an insane puzzle, this game. It's so highly addictive. I cannot tell you how much I enjoy this one. So what do we do next? We still need, in theory, only one more energy symbol in that row. And I think we may have to do that actually, because so we have the two things in here. These are the two navigational symbols we need for this card here, but then we would be at 5 and we would lose this. The thing now is that a problem or not? I think I will not be able to make it anyway in this row, so we will suffer the consequences at least once, I believe. I think so. The thing is, I need a second thruster symbol in this row actually. Maybe this wasn't all too clever actually, in order to make this work, because if I play another, let's say, thrust symbol in the next row we are about to build, we cannot trigger this. This really needs the symbol in the same row. So yeah, this is super tough. We are playing this card here, so the oven it's basically turned off. And in order to play it, we will have to spend a pizza. Yeah, that is super brutal actually. pretty sure we are not going to make it. So I already regret that I spent this pizza on the gas station, but I was really not counting that the next one would also cost us pizza actually. Okay, but it is what it is. So we have played the card. So now we have the 2 in here. So in theory, we are okay. And then for my next action, again, we are at 4, so we are not triggering anything. And I think the idea was to use the shortcut. We are playing this card face down. We can do that basically for free because again, we have our station, so we don't need to pay for energy cost to basically rotate it and place it into the grid. So now we do have one of these symbols. So now we're at 5 cards in our row. So first of all, we check, have we made it? Have we found the shortcut? No, unfortunately not. Yes, we have the 2 symbols because we get 1 scanning symbol per drive symbol. We have 1, 2 drive symbol. That is good. Do we have 2 of these navigational symbols right now? And these don't need to be in the grid now. So one could be here, the next one could be here, but we only have 1. So no, we haven't made the shortcut, and we also can't jump, right? Because we don't have 6, we only have 2. So that's a bummer. This now means we will have to suffer the consequences. We have a problem. And in this case, it says we will have to lose yet another pizza piece. Or it's getting colder, basically. That's what's happening here. I think there is a reward. We get 1. Okay, on this card, that is cool. Even if we would jump, we would get a level up. Maybe I should have checked that, but I'm not sure if I would have made it any better. So now we are allowed, as part of this, we have a problem step to draw as many cards as we do see drive symbols in our display. So 1 and 2, and this is the entirety. Not every player would get 2 cards, so we would basically start with a player who has the lowest cards and then going clockwise from there, I believe. But as I'm the solo player, I'm allowed to draw basically both of the cards myself. Again, we have some more options here. That is typically never a bad thing. Then we are pretty much abandoning this row here, so we are creating a new row. We can still use these symbols somewhat for stuff, but again, everything where it says per, these per things, they need to remain in the same row. That's why I needed this drive symbol here in this row. And now I basically continue playing cards. Yeah, things are now super easy. With my last card, or with my next action, I'm going to play this, the third star on the left. We are allowed to flip this one over for free, basically. We can do that, and now I think we should be able to take the shortcut here. So we do have the 2 things here. We are discarding those. So when you use these resources, you have to discard them actually. And then we check, basically we will generate 1 of these scan symbols per drive symbol, 1 and 2. In this case, we are not spending this card. We are basically spending the fuel for this card. These are those 2 cards. So these are 2 of these scanning symbols, and this is enough to make it through here. Hooray! This now allows us finally to upgrade 1 of our cards to the other side. And I think in this case, I will upgrade. It has to be a hand card, basically the pew pew to pew pew pew. So we get from 1 to here. We are also generating a drive symbol with here. So I think this upgrade is super nice. And we simply place it back into our hand with the upgraded. The rest of the grid will be discarded as well. I will draw up to my hand size. So I'm drawing 3 more cards. So that's 1, 2 and 3. Cool. And then last but not least, yes, we are allowed to remove this. So this is gone, and now we have a slime monster. Okay, that is an interesting one. We can find the weak spot for 3 and 3. That is tough. What does this mean? Have you flipped this card? Okay, don't know what this means. Okay, flip this card. Sorry, it says exactly what it says. Oh, how cute. Flip this card. Then we have to do stuff, or we can jump with 4 and 1 navigational, but we have some time actually. Let's place this card over here, but we can still man a station. Maybe we can now man a better station, which would either help us here, but 3 of those is pretty tough to deal. The 3 weapons, I think we might be able to do with this pew 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 actually, but the 3 scanning could be a problem, because again, with our scanners we are trying to find the weak spot actually. But I believe I will hold on to this station here. This is a very cool one, not paying energy. I think this is pretty cool. So let's not do that. Let's deal with a slime monster. And in theory, we could maybe even try to make it. Finding the weak spot here. Oh, that is interesting. I have to really go through that. Okay, this has taken me a while. I will not be able to defeat this monster with this card right now, with my cards I have. I'm relatively certain. I'm lacking one of these scanning symbols here. That is kind of a bummer. And these scanning symbols are really super hard to get at times. But I believe we can do something like this. We play it here for free, because again, there is basically a hyphen. We play it here and we are drawing 2 cards. And we don't have a hard hand limit, so I can go beyond my 7. I only draw up to 7. So we are gaining the energy reroute, and now we are gaining the symbol here. Are you kidding me? I didn't know what was underneath, and we need this card. That's the perfect card to play, and okay. This may change things. Can we make the cut before we have to turn the slime monster here? It can be terrible, believe me. So let's see if we can pull this off. Again, our plan is to jump, actually. So we are playing this card here. It doesn't cost us anything. It comes with a drive symbol, and we are allowed to draw a card. So this one here, this was huge. So now we have already 2 of our jump symbols. We need 4 with a solo player. I will play this card basically flipped or turned over. In order to do that, we will have to spend an energy, but again, because of our station, we are no longer paying energy. So this is really a strong station. So now we do have 4 of our drive symbols we need. We need 1 navigational symbol. In theory, we can generate 1 navigation per scanning thing, basically 3 to 1, a countdown. And I think we can play this card here. We will also have to rotate it, so it's basically for free. And now we can, I think, pull it off. So we are generating this one here by more or less spending the resource. Again, you really have to spend those resources. You have to remove them. And then we have, so basically we have this, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can basically, I think a card can benefit, or cards can benefit from each other. That is totally allowed. But we now have the 4 energy. We have the 1 thing in here. We are totally cool. We have made the jump. We are not gaining, unfortunately, any ship upgrades. I'm really not doing quite well. We are still drawing up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we are drawing a card, which means we have to shuffle the discard pile now. And I will make a cut once I have shuffled this. So this is now this, and we are making the cut here. Okay. We are getting this card. Does it help us? We had this before. I mean, I will take it. I mean, we can always discard it for stuff. Then we can still man a new station. Oh no, in theory, we can man the station after we have seen what new sector is. Okay, let's take things in order. So these things are going to, but we are drawing. Yeah, I think we should have shuffled these into the deck as well, but yeah, let's not take things back. It is what it is. We are discarding this slime monster here, so you won't know what there is. And then we have the final border. Now we take the boss sectors, and I think we know what those are. So I will simply draw this one here. It's an alien. Oof, that's a tough one to beat. So we can fight him with 8, and we can only count this when there is even a scanning thing in there, or we can simply jump up. But that's only the final one. We still have to draw 3 of the advanced things onto the boss. So we are pretty much flipping the other card. And I think we are shuffling them all now actually into the deck, and then we are drawing 3 more cards on top of this. But again, this is only because we are doing a learning game. So let's do this. So 1, 2, oops, I already did that wrong. Apologies. Of course, we have to flip them over. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, that is our real first thing we have to do. That's a space bug. Or space bugs. They're everywhere, so the danger is we have to discard 3 cards. Oh, we need 2 now to jump away with 4. or we can do a force field isolation per player 1 and 2, or we can build a trap where we need 3 of these robots, or is it science? I keep forgetting. Engineering, some sort of these things in order to get rid of those. So will this change my plan for the battle station? And indeed, I don't think so, because there's one perfect card actually which we want to play, and as long as we don't have to spend energy for actions, this could still help us. Again, there are all sorts of other stations like this one here. I could use a chef symbol, 3 energy, and this would increase our pizza by 1 level. So this is something that you could do maybe shortly before the end of the game to optimize your score. But I'm far from really looking after score. I really want to survive my first day as a pizza delivery boy, right? And this is a tough nut to crack actually, because we only have 3 cards before we are triggering this. This is not the worst result. I mean, getting rid of cards could become a problem actually. Can we make it? We need 1 scanning. No, we don't have the scanner. Are you kidding me? Or can we go for the technology one? Is that a potential thing? We have at least 1 in our hand, but playing this card costs us again another pizza. I think this might break our neck here. This will be a tough one, and I believe something I didn't mention yet. We have a special action on our ship, the Space Hopper 3000. We can use it basically for free as an action. We have to destroy a card and that we are drawing, and then we are drawing up to our hand size. Okay, I think we are okay. Not really okay. It will still be messy, I believe. So I think first of all, we are going to play the oven is out. Basically, we turned off the oven. In order to play this, we will have to drop our pizza level by 1. Then we are playing this card like this. So now we are basically down to 5 cards. And then I think I need this one. So then we are using our special thing. So we're drawing 1 and 2 cards here. I now have to destroy 1 of the drawn cards. And I don't really know. I think I will destroy this one here. So it's out of the game. But now we can basically play this card here, also rotated, and now we can, I think, make this. So we need basically 3 of these robot symbols. 1, 2, 3. We have generated those. Hooray! Which means we have successfully built the trap here with 3 of these symbols here. So we have made it. And again, we do this before we do the other check. At least that's, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Okay, that was insane. So yes, we did make it. Because we did make it, we can upgrade 1 of our hand cards. I think we are going to upgrade this one here. I don't really know if we need all these symbols, but I think this seemed to be the best deal actually. Yes, cool. So we are discarding all those cards. We are allowed to draw 1, 2 more cards. Then we are discarding those space bugs here. The slime monster is back. You may have seen this when I put this out. I didn't really see, I didn't pay attention actually. This is now the second side. So yes, you will see that actually. And we will suffer 1 damage. And we can no longer jump. So we have to come up with 3 things. Oh gosh. Then we can flip it back. Or we can go for this with 2 energies and 3 of these. What are these symbols actually? Science symbol. Oh boy. This side is super tough. So with 3 we could flip it back over and then stuff will happen, I believe. I remember that. But knowing this, will this mean that we are changing our battle stations here? I only have 1 card actually. So I think it doesn't help me. So this could mean we are going to man a different station. confrontation, and let's man this station instead. So this is getting discarded. So when we are facing danger, we are simply drawing one more card, and that can be good because we will go through some danger, I believe. But again, this already costs us one card actually. That's already kind of a bummer. And now looking at this slime monster which just swallowed us, I don't think we can pull this one off. I cannot come up with 3 science and 2 energy. Yes, in theory, there is the perfect card down here which would generate, but in order to generate the science, we also need the energy. So we need 5 energy basically in the same row to generate this. We also have destroyed this card here, the cheese experiments, which would also be another science. So I think anything with science we won't be able to complete. Relatively certain about that. So I think, yeah, we simply have to run away. Let's see. We are playing the red button. In order to do that, we have to trash another card in our hand. Which one are we trashing? I think, no. No, not this one. This is also, no, I think I have to trash this card. Not sure if it's wise or not, but that's what we do. So we have 2, we cannot trigger this. Okay, pity. Then I guess we will. Does it matter? No, it doesn't. I think we are going to play this card, the energy transfer, the one we have just upgraded. So in total we now have the 3 energy. I believe we have to, oh, do we have to spend these 2 actually? I think we also have to discard this to do that. So I guess that's how it works. So we are discarding this, and now we are allowed to flip this back over to the side we already know. Have we just flipped this card? We have to discard 1 card with a drive from the roster, basically from the thing. Okay, I think we have to spend this, so I think we are not suffering anything, but we have to make it out of this because otherwise it will flip over again. But I believe we are now basically back to 0. The problem is, yeah, I think we are actually toast because these are the cards we have. We cannot really play anything. Yeah, no, I think we are basically out because we are out of energy pretty much. I think that's how it works. Here I really am not 100% sure. So because none of my cards I'm playing here will do anything. Yes, I could play them and whatever, do stuff, but I'm not drawing any more cards. We are also not triggering this one here. So I think we simply more or less ran out of gas here in this case. Unless, can we do this? No, we don't have the symbols here, right? Oh, this slime monster was bad. And I believe that's the case. There's really nothing. Not sure if this will now trigger, but I'm almost certain we are not going to make it. We would have flipped it over, then more terrible stuff would happen here. We cannot block this damage. That's one thing I actually forgot. You can block this damage with shield symbols, which you can spend. But yeah, ultimately, I don't think we are making it out. So this slime monster will suck us back in, and that's the end of our career. And keep in mind, I was playing this on the easiest difficulty level. With already the next normal difficulty level, we would have started with 6 cards instead of 4. This would have already changed things quite a bit. But hopefully I haven't messed this up now, but I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have made it anyway. I mean, we were one step away from losing our last heat of the pizza, but hopefully you were able to understand what ingenious puzzle this game really is. I absolutely love this game, and I can see how endless this can become extensible, right? Or extendable with expansions and whatnot. But even with this small box here alone, you already get a lot of game in a very small box. Yeah, anyway, I really hope you somewhat enjoyed my little playthrough here. I didn't play this particularly well. I only played it twice before. I did much better when I last time always played with the introduction one, so also doing the basically introduction mission, which again allows you to upgrade, I believe, at least 1 or 2 cards before you actually get started, and this really changes things a lot. But yeah, in the end, it really comes to what sectors you are facing and how these cards are coming out, maybe which ships you are using. But yeah, every time you play this game, you will encounter something or a situation that is entirely new to you. And that's what I really like about these games. But yeah, hope to see you soon in one of my other videos. And yeah, until then, bye bye.